Tonight for dinner, we're having fried chicken sandwiches. I've got some thin cut chicken breasts. I've just trimmed them down so that they're kind of all the same shape and size. And then I'm gonna use the pieces that I cut off to test my oil and also for snacks for the cook. I'm gonna use my all-purpose seasoning blend, which is just a teaspoon each of garlic powder, onion powder, and paprika, a half a teaspoon of black pepper, and a teaspoon of seasoned salt, and a teaspoon of ranch seasoning. And I'm just going to cover the front and the back of each piece of chicken, or the top and the bottom, however you see it. I'm gonna pat that into the chicken really good. I'm gonna lay this down into a bowl, and to this bowl, I am going to add some buttermilk from the butter that I made yesterday. I added a tablespoon of white vinegar into this just to kind of get it to thicken up a little bit. Because fun fact, the buttermilk that you get from the store is not the same as the buttermilk that you make at home. It is the same, but there's something different. The stuff that you get from the store is not as is thicker than the stuff that you can make at home. So I added a little bit of acid to get it to thicken up a little bit, and also to the acid in that buttermilk and also in the vinegar is going to help to tenderize the chicken. I'm going to let this marinate for about 30 minutes. And if the seasoning doesn't change the color of your milk or your marinade, you need to put more in. It's called flavor. We as white people need to do better about our seasonings, in that we need to season our food. End of sentence. And no, raisins do not go in potato salad. Who the fuck does that? In the meantime, I am going to mix up my flour dredge. I have got a 1/4 cup each of all-purpose flour and cornstarch. I feel like that's going to give the really, really good crunch. And then I'm going to season my flour with some more of that all-purpose seasoning that we used to season our chicken and our buttermilk. And again, if your flour's not changing colors, you need to add more shit to it. Like that definitely could use some more. So let's do a little zhuzh. So that's better. Our chicken has been marinated for 30 minutes in our buttermilk. We've got our flour dredge ready to go. So it's basically gonna be super simple. We're gonna go from the buttermilk into the flour onto a cooling rack. And then once all the chicken is out of the buttermilk, we're going to go back in and do a double dredge. Then we're gonna let it sit for 10 minutes, and then we're gonna fry it. Alternatively, if you don't have any buttermilk and you don't make your own butter, you could take regular milk and put a little bit of white vinegar in it and leave it on your countertop for like 10 minutes. Or you could also brine your chicken in pickle juice. We don't subscribe to that kind of thing around these parts. Pickles have their place. Their place just is not in my house. All right, this is what our chicken is looking like. And we're gonna go back through and we're gonna re-dredge everything so we've got a nice thick coating so that it's nice and crispy when we fry it. Once we're done double dredging all of our chicken, we're gonna let it sit for about 10 minutes. That's gonna let the coating really adhere to the chicken so that it doesn't slide off whenever you stick it in the oil. And I am definitely going to need to make some more seasoned flour. All right, immediately. I do not have any of my all-purpose seasoning mixed up anymore, so I am just going to mix it up in the flour. And I'm not worried about the ratios being wrong because it's called cooking, not science. All right, good enough for government work. If you make a mess, it makes your food taste better. One of these days, I'm gonna remember, one hand is for wet, one hand is for dry. I always do this. That's where I wear gloves, because when I do shit like this, it fucks up my nails. This one looks like an oven mitt. Someone needs to stop me from taking dabs before I do things that I have to pay attention to. All right, just barely enough. Of course, I would have had plenty had I not been a total train wreck with it, but it's gonna work. While my chicken is resting, I'm going to heat up my pan. Actually, first, I'm gonna clean my countertop because chicken. That's better. My big granddaddy cast iron skillet, and in this house, when we fry chicken, we use shortening or Crisco. I'm gonna set my stove, not that burner. I'm gonna set this burner to medium high. We want this to get to be about 350 degrees. And while I'm waiting for my chicken to rest, I'm gonna go ahead and start my oven. I'm gonna put it on my air fry function at 450. I'm gonna get some French fries out of it. Tonight's potato selection are zesty twirls from Ore-Ida. What you're gonna do is line a sheet pan, put the fries on the sheet pan, put the sheet pan in the oven when the oven's ready. Simple. Alrighty, I just put my French fries in. I let my oil get a little too hot, so I turned the fire off, and I'm going to go ahead and fry up a couple of my test pieces. I'm gonna give these like a minute or two on each side, and then I'm gonna flip them over and let them cook on the other side. Ideally, you want your oil around 350 degrees. If you get it too hot, turn your burner off, remove the pan from the stove, let it cool down, and then start the whole process over. Don't put your food in thinking it's just gonna cook faster, because all it's gonna do is burn the outside, and the middle's gonna be stone ass raw cold. Flip. That is beautiful. That is exactly what I'm looking for. All right, I'm gonna remove these from the oil. They're nice and brown on both sides. I'm gonna put them on a paper towel lined paper plate. You could also do a cooling rack, but currently, as you see, mine is being utilized. I feel pretty confident that our oil is at a good spot, so we're gonna go ahead and do the main event. I'm only gonna do 2 pieces at a time because I don't wanna crowd my oil. Because when you put too much in the oil at one time, it cools the oil down too much, and then your food doesn't cook. Tonight we're going to be eating our chicken sandwiches off of brioche buns. Do the best that you can not to fuss with it too much, but also don't walk away and forget about it, because once it starts to burn, there's not much you can do to stop it. Gorgeous. Ah, beautiful. Maybe a little bit longer on that one. I think our oven mitt is done. Now we're talking. Last chicken breast going in. That one got a little dark. It's okay. All right, last piece of chicken coming out. Now we're gonna let those rest for a couple of minutes so that they're not like lava in the middle, and then we're gonna assemble our sandwiches. I'm waiting for my chicken to cool, and I'm waiting for my French fries to finish. I'm going to pop some buns into the oven so that we can toast them up. I usually let everybody just kind of build their sandwiches how they want, but I'm gonna show you how I make mine. I'm gonna start off with some Sweet Baby Ray's buffalo sauce. I'm just gonna pour a little bit on the top, not to where it's completely smothered, but then I'm gonna take the bun, I'm gonna flip it upside down, or right side up, and then I'm gonna take a little bit of homemade ranch. Pop that top on. You could put lettuce and tomato, onion, pickle if you subscribe to that kind of thing. And tell the husband to stop playing Fortnite because it's time to eat. I don't think no restaurant could have done no better.